Hi, you guys. So I know I haven't done a reading book, and I really want to. So we're going to be reading the book Tornado 1, chapter 1 through, let's say, chapter 4, because I'll make different videos. Okay. Tornado by Betsy Barnes. So here is what we're going to end. We're going to go 1 through 4. The storm in the dog. No, chapter 1 is the storm. Chapter 2 is in the doghouse. Chapter 3 is the car trick. And chapter 4 is Carly's turtle. I don't know if we'll do all those chapters because I'm not a big reading fan. The storm, chapter 1. Twister, Pete yelled. Twister! I ran for the house. Twister, he pointed. I looked over at my shoulders. I could see it. For it a long black funeral, clouds in the west. It pointed from the dark sky right down our farm. Pete opened the doors in the storm shelter and belonged in his straps hat. Twister, he shouted again. Doesn't have a picture, but I'm still showing you. My two brothers ran into the barn. Pete helped my grandmother down the steps. Hurry up, boys, she called. Then she said to my mother, Come on, Beth. My mother was standing outside the door. She was really about my daddy. Link, she called. My daddy was named after the president, Lincoln. He was in the cornfield. Pete said, He can't hear you, Mama. Still, my mother hesitated to. Cornfield seemed like a direct under the funnel. He'll be all right. He can get into a ditch. You come on now. She ducked into the shelter. Pete pulled the doors behind her. The storm shelter was dim and cool. It smelled like potatoes and pickles. My mother kept stacks of the root vegetables here and of the boxes of eggs and jars of tomatoes. My brothers and I sat on the dirty floor. My grandmother sat on the pickle barn, and my mother sat on the orange crate. We sat for a moment of silence, listening to the storm and worrying about my father in the cornfield. Something that sounded gravely he threw against the shelter doors. Hail, my mom said, and bowed down her head. Pete cleared his throat. You know what to bring to your mind, he said. We knew what my brother was going to say. Turned to him gratefully. We saw a flash of teeth. He smiled at us. It brings to a mind a dog I had one time. Tornado, my brothers and I said together. How do you know his name? He teased. Yes, I did call him my dog Tornado. Pete sheltered his straw hat and the head and began. I remember an August day, the whole lot of one of us. See, that's Mama. And that's Grandmother. I think those are the brothers. And I think that's the sister, Carly. Chapter 2 in the doghouse. Alright, you guys, I'm going to read this part, but we are going to be doing another story in, the afternoon. So I'm going to read this part, and then we're done. Along to lunch, it hit. Only there is no warnings like we had. No funnel clouds, no nothing. 1 minute we were eating beans and biscuits at the table. Next there was a roar worse than a train. Worse than 100 trains. And Then they came to a terrible tearing sound, like the world was beginning to rip apart. I could still hear my mind. I looked up and I saw the sky. The ceiling was clean, gone. There is no sky of tornado. He tore and roof. He went roof. The kitchen and left the food on the table and us in our seats. My daddy was the first one to be able to speak. He said, "Well, I'm surprised we found ourselves alive." That was how we all felt. We looked at our arms and our legs. Alright guys, chapter 2. We will do another story. I don't know, maybe tomorrow? I'm not so sure. But bye. Bye, besties.